Tom Trento, director of the United West, with a fascinating interview of a border and security expert, not from the United States, but from a different country. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. As many of you know, the United States is in the midst of a crisis, not only politically, but sociologically, and in particular on our southern border between Mexico and the United States. It's the beginning of February right now. We have 10 to 12,000 more individuals who illegally want to come into the United States, and the two major political parties are trying to figure out what the heck to do. The Republicans want to build a security system that includes fences and walls and all of that. The other party wants to take a different approach. The United West, who deals with security issues, wanted to go to a place very familiar and dear to us, that has addressed these same issues and come up with very valuable and very sophisticated and very successful systems. So with me today is one of Israel's primary border and security experts dealing with these border walls and security systems, Dr. Dan Tirzah. Dr. Tirzah, very nice to meet you. How are you, sir?
Welcome, Tom. Welcome, the audience. I'm very happy to be with you.
Your reputation precedes you. When you search your name and your background, you are often labeled, and we know no one man can do everything, but you led the teams to address the illegal immigration issues on your southern border between Israel and Egypt, and you also led the teams to solve the security issues in the Judea, Samaria, and Jerusalem. So we wanted to get inside your understanding, your philosophy, how you did this. And for our audience's sake, we're going back to Israel on our national security tour in May of this year. And Dr. Dan Tirzah is going to be our expert briefing us on these systems. So we're going right to the top in a country that has faced this like no others. Tell us a little bit about your background, and let's address the illegal immigration issue on your southern border.
Well, I was a colonel in the army for about 30 years. In my last 14 years in the army, I was in charge of building the security barriers along the lines between the West Bank and Israel, East Jerusalem, and other places that we had to do it to prevent terror from coming to Israel.
All right, now that's the terror situation. And folks familiar with Israel, you have Judea, Samaria. Some folks refer to that as the West Bank of the Jordan River. And all along those borders there were extensive and continual terrorist operations, terrorists coming into Jerusalem and Israel proper. What was your foundational thinking in terms of respecting human beings, but also providing sovereignty for the citizens of the state of Israel? How'd you approach it philosophically?
Well, I was the integrator of this project. I took to my decision-making group all the experts from all the ministries inside Israel, and even the green organizations and other organizations that I try to learn all the problems on the ground and balance between the security needs of Israel and the rights of the people on the ground. So all the time, it was a matter of balance. Although it was a time of war, we had about 3,000 terror attacks from the West Bank to Israel, and we had to protect ourselves. So it has to be in a very short time, taking decisions, taking the right procedure, how to do it, how to balance and work on the ground.
Okay, so with your working group, your team, you had to come up with all of those issues and then come up with some solutions. And I'm sure every time you suggested a solution, you had a lot of people screaming and yelling, it's never going to work, it's never going to work. So you had a political issue. You've resolved that to a large extent. But also there was an engineering issue, Because as we know, the
Yes.
topography, the geography, hills and valleys and water and all of this, how'd you approach it from an engineering point of view?
Well, I'm not an engineer. My PhD is in business administration. But what I know to do the best is to take all the experts together and to construct something that will work. And that was the main idea. You know, in the United States, you have a lot of problems of integration between all of the entities on the ground, like the sheriffs don't work with the rangers don't work with the local police is not working with the border control is not working with the FBI is not sharing intelligence with anyone. So one of my first missions was to take them all to one control room, share the same communication system with all our forces on the ground, that they will work together on the same mission. It was not a pleasant challenge because, you know, everyone wants to keep his own intelligence to himself, but people have to understand that if we are not working together, we'll miss the project. And because Prime Minister was behind me and he helped me to combine them together, it works. And today, nobody thinks how we can do it without working together, all these entities.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar, Dan, with the term herding cats. You ever hear the U.S. term herding cats? That's what you had to do. Cats don't like to be herded. They like their own space. So you had to get them all in a room and get them pointed in the right direction. Big task. Yeah. At any point, did your team of experts come out and say that that walls, a physical barrier, is immoral or it doesn't work?
The way that we work together is that these experts cannot come with me and say it doesn't work. They have to give me the right solution. Everyone with his experience, like the experts of roads, have to come with design how to change the roads. The experts of archaeological sites, they have to come to me and says, well, this is a very important place, we have to dig, and what we'll do in the future. Those that were in charge of the ownership of the land, they were coming to me and says, well, we have to pay compensation in one place, in another place. I tried to negotiate with the owners of the land, but the issue is to find solutions and not to find problems.
You know, people don't think here in America, because the United States is 242 years old, we don't really think of the issue of archaeological sites. But in Israel, everywhere you turn, it's an archaeological site. And I can imagine the archaeologists saying, you can't do that. You can't go here. Go around here. Go this way. That must have been amazing.
That's right, because this is the Holy Land. So everywhere that you go, every place that you dig, it's a holy site for Christians, for Jews, for Arabs, for Muslims. So all the time you have to be very sensitive to the sensitivity of the people on the ground.
All right, when you finally got your system put together and you took a step back, when you finished, this is the barrier system, we'll call it on the West Bank, did you go, thank God, and light a cigar and have a beer, or what did you feel like when it was finally done?
Well, I was very happy in places that I succeeded, but I know and I believe and I hope that in the future, when we'll have peace agreement with the Palestinians and there will be no frighten of terror anymore, I want to be the one that will take them off, because it's a very, very small country and we don't want this country to be apart. So really, I hope that if there will be no security need, we can remove it.
All right, Dr. Dan Tirzah, we're excited about coming to see you, ladies and gentlemen. This is an amazing briefing, fact-finding expedition to Israel to be with Dr. Dan Tirzah, who is renowned as overseeing the building of the security systems, the border systems in Israel, in the Judea and Samaria area, and down on the southern border. We're going down to the Egyptian border and seeing how that was solved. Thousands coming over, now 1 or 2 or 3 a year. We need these solutions. We invite you to come. We look forward to it. Tom Trento leading this with Dr. Ronnie Wexler and a whole host of national security experts. We'll see you in Israel in May 2019.